This is the V60 Polestar, a very fast Volvo wagon tuned and upgraded for serious performance in any weather, even in the dead of a Sudbury winter. With enormous brakes, a special all-wheel drive system, track-ready suspension, and 367 horsepower, this rare machine proves that Volvo wants to show the world that there's nothing wrong with owning a station wagon, and that station wagons can be fun, and that station wagons are pretty swell.
For years, a station wagon was a glorious family hauler, and Volvo was one of the world's foremost station wagon brands. And then someone invented the crossover SUV, and everyone in the universe bought like 9 of them, and they're still huge business to this day. And that has largely left the station wagon marketplace dead on the table. In fact, other than just a few exceptions, most automakers have abandoned station wagons altogether simply because almost nobody wants one. But Volvo is hoping to change that with this, the new V90 Cross Country.
Handsome, isn't it? This might just be the best looking wagon ever, and if you think it looks good on your screen, wait till you check one out in real life. The V90 Cross Country is mostly one of these, the award-winning Volvo S90 we drove a few months back. This is a fantastic luxury car and one of the biggest things to hit the luxury scene in recent years. But for those that need more room, Volvo created this, the V90, basically an S90 station wagon. And from that basis, they built the tester we're looking at today, the V90 Cross Country. That's cross country as in fitted with a slight suspension lift of about 6 centimeters and some rugged body cladding so you can do a little light to moderate off-road work if required. It's also so that this wagon comes off a little more like a crossover SUV than a family wagon. Ultimately, it's like an S90 with a set of hiking boots and a backpack. Notably, the increased ride height means an easier time getting in and out for some, with less of a drop down and less of a climb to get standing up again when exiting. Compared to a larger SUV, this may be more ideal for a mobility challenged driver or passenger. The dog loves it too. Unlike a taller SUV, he can jump into the back easily, and when he's too old for that someday, he'll be able to walk right into the rear seat. Those fold just about full flat when required at the touch of a button, expanding the wide cargo hold when you've got more gear than passengers. There are clever dividers and cargo covers, and even this divider screen to add heaps of functionality to the cargo area. And seats folded, it's almost like a little cargo van. You could even sleep in the back on a camping trip if you wanted, and do a little stargazing out of the gigantic panoramic sunroof. Seats up and some passengers on board in the back, there's space to spare, legroom galore, adequate headroom, and no problem for 2 adults, even larger ones. Here's one of those great machines for hauling around the family, or maybe 2 couples for a trip to the cottage or slopes. How's she drive? Mostly just like the S90, which is a good thing. Motivation comes from Volvo's 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that's both supercharged and turbocharged, running dual boost to generate 316 horsepower. Overall performance is strong and satisfying. There's a load of low-end torque for a feeling of effortless light throttle acceleration. The 8-speed automatic helps smooth and enhance the performance and enables very low cruising revs for better fuel mileage. There's all-wheel drive too, which is smart, clever, and largely invisible. Typical Volvo brakes, good precision from the pedal, and even better performance. Jam on them and you're stationary in a jiff. If it were any thinner, you'd probably go right through the seatbelt. Visibility and maneuverability are covered off too. For a big wagon, it turns on a dime, so it's easy to park or place on a trail, and you're assisted further by this very high-resolution around-view camera system, and the fact that at low speeds, the power steering lightens up enough that you could steer with your pinky. Let's take a look at this tester's 3 most valuable assets. First, the cabin. It hits above its price point for unique design, upscale materials, and a gorgeous sense of craftsmanship. Right down to the finest details. To me, this feels like a pricier ride than it is, and your passengers will think you spent more. As Volvos usually do, this one also contains the best seats you'll visit all day. Second, the Bowers & Wilkins stereo. This is a $3,200 option and a must-have if you'll use your cross-country as a personal listening space. I've experienced dozens of high-end car stereos over the years, and none has impressed me more in terms of power, potency, and clarity. This 1,400-watt 19-speaker unit is one of the best factory stereo systems on the road, and you'll run out of eardrum before it runs out of firepower. Third, the LED headlights. As I noted with the S90, these are among the very best I've ever used. Very powerful illumination, perfect color, and perfect spread and saturation. They improve safety and comfort too. Hours and hours into a nighttime drive, your eyes still feel fresh and alert, not strained. Gripes: I wish the 4-cylinder engine sounded better. If you're after a performance soundtrack when you open up your 316 horsepower wagon, you won't find it here. The central command interface is slick once you get used to it, but that can take a while. And finally, the ride quality is a bit of a mixed bag. I wanted this machine to ride like a big squishy Cadillac floating on a cloud, but with the 19-inch wheels and a slightly stiffer than expected suspension, she rides beautifully on smooth roads, but feels just a touch more rough and harsh than I like on rougher roads and trails. So consider skipping the upsized wheels if you're after all-out comfort, but note that this setup does turn in some pretty solid handling dynamics. A final note: if you like gadgets and safety, look no further. The Cross Country is fitted with nothing less than the market's very latest and advanced hazard detection and semi-autonomous technologies. The list is too big to cover everything, but let's just say that among many other things, here's a wagon that can drive hands-free in certain situations and even stop itself from hitting a moose before you know the moose is even there. That's slick stuff wrapped in a slick cabin, powered by a slick engine and executed with a feel and driving environment that hits well above the tester's sub-$70,000 price tag.
So if you're after utility and space, all-weather capability, and luxury to spare from a package that really stands out from the crowd, make sure you give one of these a closer look. I'm Justin Pritchard. Thanks for watching.